The great thing about the Groundlings is as long as it's funny, as long as you're entertaining people, you can pretty much do whatever you want to do. There has always been, and which I'm very proud of, a history of very strong Ground League women. Melissa was always fearless, daredevil, and wonderful. And Kathy Griffin was another one. I mean, she was a ball buster, and she would just go in there and do it. Kathy Griffin, this is Kathy Griffin. This is the girls, Lorraine and Tracy, before Lorraine got woofed off to Saturday Night Live. The Groundlings that have done Saturday Night Live have this great background. They're coming in with sketches that have already been written. They're coming in with fantastic characters. So it's a great training ground for Saturday Night Live. I remember Lorraine doing her Valley character, and John Lovett's all his actor characters, and That's the Ticket.
Yeah, that's it, Ticket.
That was all done here. Besides doing characters, you can work on the character of yourself. I play Charlie's mother on It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, and I came in with the confidence of knowing that I can improvise as myself, you know, and that was straight from the Groundlings. This is our green room. I can remember people smoking here. Sit back, oh yeah, I like that scene, you want a cigarette and stuff like that. Phil Hartman would come in and he would sit on the table, and then I had a girdle that my nylons hooked onto, and I remember him standing over there and saying, come on guys, we don't want to be around when that thing pops. He was somebody who it was so much fun to write with. When he was at Saturday Night Live, he was like one of the older players, even though he was like in his, late 30s. But when he was at the Groundlings, he was hot. I mean, he was our resident sex symbol. He was gorgeous and handsome in a different way that he was handsome and wonderful later on. Pee-wee is the character that took off, but he had like 10 other brilliant characters. He really is a genius. He can get the best people for the job. He's got a great eye. I mean, you watch him work and he would come in as a waiter and start making faces, and your eyes would just automatically go to him. He was so fascinating and so good. Oh, here are the boys, John Paragon and Paul Reubens doing the fat guys, and they both talked out of the side of their mouth like this. And Julia Sweeney, who's a very, very dear to my heart. So if there's a party at the Groundlings, I gravitate towards my wall. It's just like, this is where I belong. This is my wall. This is my history. Most of my life and most of my career can be traced down to the Groundlings. I've had so much fun. Sometimes I'll be going to a reunion show and I'll hear Phil Hartman in my head saying, "You're gonna be great, honey." I just hear that. And I just love him and I miss him so much, and everybody does. And I feel his presence, and I feel his presence here. Where everybody smokes cigarettes. I haven't smoked in years, but I do remember this was a really fun place to smoke. The Christmas Spectacular. We would have people do little songs and little sketches, and it would always go wonderful. Doug Cox, who's a friend of mine and has been a Groundling since the beginning, Doug decided that he wanted to do an Easter Spectacular. I mean, there were jokes like the drinks were being served like the Rusty Nail and things like that. The audience, nobody laughed for the Easter Spectacular.
Doug was just like, I don't know what went wrong. And Phil Hartman came up and he said, you can do what you want to about Christmas, but don't fuck with the resurrection.